CNN, of course, has working for them two pieces of dog shit. Cuomo, of course, as well as Don Lemon. So this is what we're going to do. I'm not going to preface it. There's another one I'm not going to preface. We're just going to listen to what these guys were talking about, and then we'll give our thoughts after the fact.
I think we have to stop coddling people when it comes to this and the vaccine, saying, oh, you can't shame them. You can't call them stupid. You can't call them silly. Yes, they are. The people who aided and abetted Trump are stupid because they believed his big lie. The people who are not getting vaccinated.
Okay. It's funny how Trump, he mentioned that right out the gate as if Trump wasn't pro-vaccine anyway, as if Trump didn't facilitate really a lot of the dumb shit that we're dealing with with the Operation Warp Speed and all of that shit. So what the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Vaccines who are believing the lies on the internet instead of science. It's time to start shaming them. What else? Or leave them behind. Because they are keeping the majority of Americans behind. You didn't feel that way about the polio vaccine. You don't feel that way about measles, mumps, rubella when it comes to your children. And all of a sudden this vaccine is different.
Well,
what's different about it?
Well, I'll tell you what's different about it, you mother dumb son of a bitch. It's different because it has a 99.9% survival rate for a lot of age demographics, particularly people that are, let's say, under the age of 60-something years old, right? A lot of people get it, will never need to go to the hospital or anything. And there's also another thing that we're dealing with here, Don fucking Lemon. This vaccine and what you guys are trying to advocate and what you're advocating that the government do is completely a unique situation. Never once have I went to the store and needed to provide a proof of chickenpox, fucking polio or measles vaccines or fucking anything like that. Never once have I ever had to do that. I've never been asked or required of my vaccination status to like travel really anywhere because I have a passport. I've went to other different countries. I know there's pockets of Africa and stuff that will require you to have certain things, but for the most part, I've never been asked, and I've been a bunch of different countries. Never have I been asked, but specifically when we deal within the U.S. and interstate travel, never have I been asked or expected or asked to be required of me going to the store, going to a concert, going outdoors, like outdoor facilities, which is the crazy shit that they're doing right now. Anywhere, work, employment, none of that have they ever asked me of my that's what's different, right? So you can't fall by this whole, and why are they trying to conflate fucking COVID to polio of all things anyway? What are these? Let's listen to this fucking dickhead a little
The only
more.
different thing about it is because of your politics today.
I just gave you a long list of what's different about it, and more so you guys' approach, not only in the infected fatality rate, but also with the idea that people like these mandates, these sweeping mandates that we're dealing with right now. That's what makes it so different. And this is what happens when these guys, like they stay in the echo chamber, right? They talk to people who agree with them for the most part all the time. So they don't even know the position of the people that are to the contrary. It's just that, okay, well, you don't support science, right? You don't support science. That's it. When you sit there and argue with other dickheads or talk to other dickheads like Cuomo, and that's about it, then yeah, you come out thinking that you have all the ideas and there's nobody that's conjuring up any legitimate argument or position that is to the contrary of yours. That's not only cocky, but it makes you fucking stupid, man.
People talking about, well, I don't know what's in the shot, Chris. I don't know what's in that shot.
I'll tell you what's not in it.
Hold on,
a tracking device.
Yeah. Let me finish this.
What the fuck?
You know
well, like he acts like most of us are talking. See, both of these guys are scum of the goddamn earth, man. They really are. They're disingenuous as fuck. Like he acted like there's a long list of people that are either questioning the vaccine, that are worried about if it fucking has a tracking device in it. And on top of that, actually, if we want to get technical with it, the Pentagon actually conceded that they are trying to create a fucking, it's not necessarily a tracking device, though it can be tracked. That's what they said. Go watch the 60 Minutes segment if you don't believe me on this. But it's a microchip that the Pentagon is trying to create, which they actually already have created, that can sort of detect COVID in people. That's not an opinion, by the way. That's a fact. But that's not what we're talking about, tracking devices in the fucking vaccine. Like, come on, man.
You know what they get shots in nowadays? In their rear ends. They're getting shots to make it bigger. They're getting shots in their face.
That ain't really us. That usually ain't the people on our side. That's usually the people that's on fucking your side that's doing that shit.
What's in Botox? They don't know what's in this stuff. Nothing wrong with Botox.
People don't know what they eat,
Look,
what they drink,
I tried it
what they
once.
smoke.
My eyebrow went up. I don't have it now. As you can see, I got all these wrinkles. Everybody asks me when I'm going to get, you need Botox. But listen, nothing wrong with Botox.
Clearly.
But I'm saying, do people really know what's in stuff that they inject in their bodies all the time? And they're
What
like,
they eat, what they drink?
what they drink, all the. Stop it.
Like,
Stop
okay, like that's not an argument. You're saying that, okay, you don't know what you're eating and what you're drinking. And actually, I would argue definitely in this day and age, a lot of people are more conscious of that. But imagine presenting that as if that's an argument. Oh, well, you do other things and don't think about it. So do this and don't think about it. Like, what the fuck, man?
And we have to stop saying, oh, well, you have to listen to people. And no, you don't. These people are being harmful to the greater good. You don't have to.
There's no such thing as a greater good.
Listen to a minority of people who are being harmful to the greater good.
Also, it's funny that he used the term minority. Look, when we talk about like unvaccinated versus vaccinated, which really is a false dichotomy. Either way, it starts to sound real eerie, and it's things that we've heard from very bad people within government, and just swap out what they thought was the majority with vaccinated and what they thought was the minority that should be punished as the unvaccinated, and it starts to sound a lot like guys, including people with funny mustaches.
And who are not acting on logic, reason, and science.
Says who? Says who? Like, to be honest, most of the people that I know who are at least questioning this are more rooted in science than the folks that are just lining up. See, they look at science by doing what the authoritative figures tell you to do. That's what they look at as science. Science isn't questioning anything, which actually it should be. That's kind of a vital part of science. Science to them is just listening to what they say. Reason to them is just listening to what they say because they think they have monopoly on the truth. They think they have monopoly on what's reasonable. Like, what these fucking guys?
I had an issue, I told you, Chris, when my family was here, and they were saying, well, I don't know, I said, you know how you got here to visit me in New York? You took an airplane. What is that? Science. Right?
What the fuck kind of argument is that? Like, what kind of argument? You're actually proving that they aren't against science, you fucking dipshit. Well, hey, Don Lemon, on a serious note, about this subject matter, I would love to be a guest on your show. Hit me up, info@ericdjuly.com. I would love to speak with you about this subject matter.
You know why people live to be older than 40, 50, 60 years old these days? Science.
Yes, and yes, there's not people that are against science. You're just using science as a trademark.
Medicine. No one questions that. You know why people...
No, people question it all the time. It's how we got to where we are. Don Lemon, these are very bad arguments, man. People do question science all the time. A lot of the vaccines that you see, a lot of the medicine that you see aren't the first incarnation of those, right? Some of the first ones had like very bad side effects, right? And then someone else had to give their shot and they repackaged it to where it had less side effects and where it was more beneficial, right? When it comes to the risk and rather cost benefit analysis. What are you talking about? It has absolutely been questioned.
You know what is so contradictory about it? When people get sick, they go into the hospital and they say, throw it all, give it to me, inject it, put it in me. And you're going to pay a whole lot of money. And you're going to tax the medical system when you could have gotten it for free and you wouldn't be in that position.
No. First of all, we're talking about an experimental injection. And I don't know about y'all, but when I go to the doctor, maybe some of you don't. I'm not saying that there aren't people, but when I go to the doctor, before they inject anything into me, I ask them what the fuck they're doing. What the fuck is this medicine that I'm taking? What are the side effects of the medicine that you're prescribing me, and all of that, right? Now, on another note, it ain't free. There's taxpayers are paying for this, and big pharma is being lined up because of it. But on a serious note, that's not how this shit works. Like, yeah, I go to the doctor, and yeah, if I'm sick or something, we say, help me out. But you're talking about injecting people that aren't even sick because of what might possibly happen for something with an IFR in the fucking .0s.
In the first
You're going to
place.
question the vaccine, but you want to take a horse dewormer. But look, here's the...
Oh, that's it. Just so fucking funny. They're still running with this fucking horse dewormer shit, man. They're still running with that. They think that's just a funny joke. This is why we call them NPCs, right? I'm done watching this shit. This is why we call them NPCs. This is exactly why we call them NPCs. Right? Because they say the same goddamn thing. They get it rolled out, right? They get the firmware update, and then they go say the same thing, and they can't deviate from it because they're too stupid, and all they're doing is repeating some moronic argument that they heard somebody else make. They still going on with this horse dewormer shit. These people want you dead. They're drawing the line in the sand. And this is what the vaccinated versus the unvaccinated thing is. This is why he mentioned Trump. This has nothing to do with science. And it has everything to do with them thinking that they could punish people that they feel are their enemies politically. So this is why they think everybody, again, doesn't make sense because Trump is very pro-vaccine. He was the one that facilitated a lot of what we have right now. But they think that everybody that doesn't line up to take the shit or that isn't for vaccine mandates is some sort of MAGA hat wearing person. And because they think that, they want you punished. They want you ostracized. And that's why they advocate what it is that they advocate. It's not that complicated. It's not. Has nothing to do with science, though. You just watched a clip from our podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.